right? This video is not even going to be about me showing trades, right? And not even speaking about the whole analysis on how to actually do your trades, right? So with that being said, let's jump into the video. It's your boy, that dude Montague, the lone FX trader, and you tuned into Forex with Local Millionaires. Basically, what we're gonna do, right? So I'm gonna show you how to actually analyze from your find monthly zones, right? Daily zones, your 4-hour zones, basically how to do your analysis day to day, right? Or basically setting up for one solid trade, right? So with that being said, jump into the charts. Right, let me actually share my screen. Boom, boom, boom. Let's get it in. Right, there we go. All right, so basically jump into it. Right, so I'm going to show you how to do this. You can actually do this on every currency pair. All right, so the pair I'm actually going to show you this on is going to be Euro USD, right? Which is basically very simple, right? So what we're going to do, first of all, what we're going to do, we're going to go into our bigger time frame. So our monthly time frame. Let me actually delete everything right here. Right, so monthly time frame. So what we're going to do, we want to catch all the data, right? So when I speak about the data, we're going to focus on the data from the start of this year, right? Data from the start of this year, the data where market is right now, right? So with that being said, let's actually jump into that. So first of all, what we want to do, we want to find this year's high, right? So if you see this year's high was at 1.23200, we're gonna make it 200. Just gonna make it, we're gonna round it off to 1.2. I think 1.2300, right? So basically just to focus on this year's data. So right there, so that's 2021. Right, a nice psychology level, right? So basically we're gonna actually allocate this, right? So now we're actually gonna name it, right? We're gonna name it, it's gonna be our monthly resistance. Right, we're gonna put a price in, right? So that we actually know 23300. Right, so there we go, right? Got that in, slot that in immediately, right? So the next one I want to do is actually catch where price is right now, right? Where price is right now. And that is at 1.12 thousand, right? So we make 250. We always want to catch that psychology level down about 250. Let's actually make it 200, right? So I'm going to go on 200. Right, so 1 point, there we go, about there. Let's actually make it 250, yeah, 2050, right? So there we go, get our text in, and that's going to be our monthly support. Our monthly support, we basically got at a 1.12050, right? Monthly support, boom, right? So with that, let's lock it in. So now that we actually found our monthly support and monthly resistance, right? So the next step, what we're going to do, we're going to pull out our Fibonacci, right? Fibonacci is going to assist us with actually finding our weekly zones without actually jumping into the weekly time frame, right? So that's going to make it so much easier. So we just basically going to set up, quick setup, right? So we're going to get that, boom, boom. Let me actually log this in, lock, right? So now what I'm going to use, I'm going to get my Fibonacci. I'm going to get it, I'm going to pull it from my high to my low, high to my low right there. It's adjusted. Just the condition, it's at coordinates, right? So we're going to get it at, the one price is at 300, right? Next one is at 250, boom, right? So there we go. So now what we're going to use, right? So we're going to find the halfway point of our monthly resistance and our monthly support. This is basically going to assist us with our weekly zone, right? So when we actually get that weekly zone right there, it's going to be at 50 and it's going to be at 1.17675. Right, so right there, we can give the change of color. I'm going to change the color right up. Let's get that. Let's make it blue. We'll change the text, make it text white. Right, so boom, right there. And this is going to be our weekly zone. Right, so I'll actually move into, let's do that weekly zone, which is at, sorry about that, let me change that. Oh, weekly zone, right, which is at 1.17675. Right, solid right there, boom. So what we're going to do with this, actually also just adjust the condition as it's 775, right? Oh, 675. 675. And boom. There we go, right there. Right. So basically, what this actually does, right? So it assists us with finding our weekly zones, right? So basically, if I move into like a weekly time frame, we'll actually see this is where price rejected or reversed, right? When market came there, it reversed to the support, or it reversed to our resistance, right? So you see, without us actually even jumping into, right? Without us even jumping into a weekly time frame, finding those areas we touch, right? This method basically makes it so much easier for us, right? So boom. So with that, so what we're gonna do? So as we see, right, price is now currently, and price is currently at our support. So with that being said, we're gonna actually find another zone below. So with our Fibonacci, all we're gonna do is basically move it down, like there, final conditions, which is at 250. Let me actually see if I can move it a little closer. So that's 10. So we're going to get minus 10 here. Minus 10 right here. Boom. Right? So now what we are actually going to do, we're going to also add now another monthly support. Right? Just in case price actually breaks, and then we can move from there. And then from there, we're actually going to jump into smaller time frames and add order for us to actually catch those day trades. Right? So now that we're allocated our next monthly zone, right? So next monthly zone right there, we're gonna make it white again, get our white out, right? Get our text back to blue. Get our text back to blue. Right, get our condition properly. So not condition, but our coordinates properly for this. It's gonna be 0.1. Right there. Let's get those words out. Monthly support. Monthly support right there. Right, and we're gonna get it back at 0. It's gonna be 1.01,000. There we go. And we can log that back in. Right. So the next zone that we want to find out is going to be our weekly zone. Right. So what I'm also going to do, I'm going to show you that the data that we caught on this side, right? Basically, this year's data, it moves with the data that we had previously. So when I speak previous data, I'm speaking about last year, the year before that, the year before that. So basically, you can always backtest this, right? Boom. So let's get that. Let's get our weekly zone in. Get it to 50. So it's going to be 1.06. 6, 6, 25. I think it's 25. Is it 25? 25. Let's check that out. Yeah. So now I'm at 25, right? So basically we got it right there. So now what we're gonna do, just get our text, get everything sorted, style, right? And then we're actually gonna jump into analyzing this, right? So let's get a text out. This is gonna be just the weekly zone. Weekly zone, right? Which is at 1.06625, right? 1.6025. There we go. Sorry about that. Let's actually, let me actually get that. Weekly zone right there. Boom. Right? And what we actually see, right? The data that we had previously last year, April, right? Between last year, April, we see that market respected that area. It rejected right there, moved all the way back up, right? So what we can actually do, let's look at the data that is basically playing in these ranges. There's two ranges that we have right here. Now what we see, boom, when price came in, it retested, moved up, retested, moved up. So that's what we see, right? So basically, if we had to move more areas, more resistance upwards, we'll basically see just with that Fibonacci that we've done, that price would basically play in these ranges, right? So next thing we want to do from here, now that we allocated our monthly zones, our weekly zones, right? So now what we're going to do, we're going to move into our daily, our 4 hour, right? So when we actually move into our daily and our 4 hour, we want to move more into the line chart, right? So in this instance, what we're looking for are peaks and dips. I think peaks and dips, right? That's what it's called, right? So basically where price gave you a key point, right? So basically where price rejected, where you have that almost like a triangle, right? Sharp point, right? Sharp in, right? So basically, we're gonna try and find those areas, right, in our daily and our 4-hour, right? But we're mainly gonna focus on our daily because remember, when we're looking at currency, we're not looking just for a few 20 pips, and we're looking for a bigger trade. So we allow this to actually set us up to catch those bigger trades, right? So one thing I want to look at, boom. So we're basically gonna focus on data from here, right? I'll take data from there. Right? Because if you do look at price, this is where we had multiple rejections or areas in previous data that showed us market rejected, right? So we had peaks, right? And the more touches we get on this, peaks and dips, right? Basically key areas, key zones, right? The more touches we get on this, the stronger that zone becomes, right? So now we're actually going to allocate some areas below in case price actually breaks this support. Right, so our first area will be around that. Let me actually just remove this photo. Right? And we just find more areas a little slightly below in case market breaks those areas, right? So once we actually allocated those areas, right? So now what we want to do, we just want to drag it a little more to the right so that we have some sort of rejection area, right? Or some sort of landing area on the right-hand side, right? Because remember, we're going to see prices continuously move down, and that's what we could see. Let me actually just adjust that. See that all the way to that side. Got all the way to that side. We get it all the way to that side. Everything's set. Boom. So what I'm also going to do, I'm just going to find areas on top as well, right? So in case price rejects here, right, and starts moving up and breaks there, we should always just be prepared, right? So this is basically I just setting up. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to find an area right here because I do see I have multiple touches. So the touches that we're looking for is between 4, like between 3 and more, right? And that's when we'll actually see that that's a stronger zone, right? On the daily, you have 3 to 5, like 3 plus, 3 upwards, right? But we're looking for more. So we're always looking for more because that's going to give us more confidence on that trade or more confidence on that. Yeah, on that trade, right? So basically, now we have areas on top and we have some key points at the bottom, right? So if price breaks here, our first target would be this area right here, right? Because we saw there was multiple rejection points at the zone, right? If price breaks that area, we're looking at a little further down. Price breaks that area, we can start looking at hitting that weekly zone, right? So now we may actually analyze that. So now we're gonna move into a 4 hours. So when we actually jump into a 4 hours, this is basically when we're gonna start adding our trend line, right? Where our trends come into play, where we can actually start seeing, okay, cool, market rejected. This is where basically where we're going to put our trend in, right? Because remember, we also want to notice that trend is our friend, right? So just going to guide us through these trades, right? So if we have a look, so we're going to take, I'm going to keep it in a line chart. The reason why I like the line chart, when drawing my trend line, it takes out the noise in the market, right? So when I speak about taking out the noise in the market, you'll always see these wicks, right? These wicks, basically, it confuses us as traders because now we do not know where to place our trade, right? So we'll either want to place it at the week to week, and sometimes it's not really that correct, right? But there's no, I don't want to say there's correct way for doing this, but best for me, what I've learned is moving this into a line chart because it takes out noise, and then we see it right there, right? So we have it right there. Let's actually get everything set. Everything set right there. I'm not gonna really worry about that, right? Because that's just a peak, that's just a fake out. The price actually pushed out, retested our key zone, right? And moved all the way to the downside, right? So there we go right there. So what I was actually finding that, so now what we want to do is we see, okay, cool. Basically for the last few days, right? For the last few days, we've been in a downward trend, right? So again, now in this instance, all we're gonna do is just allocate our lower lows, right? So our lower lows, right? So where we could see price reject that. Right? So this is where we're basically seeing, okay, cool, price reject at that point and looking for that trade. Price breaks that area. Again, we basically know the slight understanding of how to trade channels or trends, right? So if price breaks this channel, right, we're looking for price to complete all the way to the upside. That's when we can see price moving all the way back up. Right? So that's one thing I'm going to look at, right? So basically the video that we've done right now is just basically to assist you, right, with your day-to-day trading, right? We're finding our zones, right? Our monthly, our daily zones for those big trades for us to actually say, okay, cool, this is where I'm looking to enter. This is where I'm actually going to calculate or get that big sort of points, right? So if you're basically looking at the move from year to date, right? So far we already secured around about 250 pips, right? Basically just from our support, our monthly support, right? All the way to where price is, or all the way we're looking to price hit, right? That's going to be around about 250 pips, right? So that's a good solid day trading, right? Just basically with us understanding that monthly zones, the weekly zones. Once price breaks a monthly zone, we're first looking for price to hit our next key zone. Right from there, we're looking for price. If price breaks that key zone and the next zone is your weekly zone, that's what we're looking for price to hit. Right. So again, it's your boy Dad Numantek. I hope this video assists you. Right. I hope this video basically is going to help you basically on your trading journey. Remember, all the information that we're doing is there just to assist you. We're making trading way much easier. So do me a favor, like, subscribe, comment, do the most, put a bell on so the next time I make a video, right? So again, it's your boy Dad Dumontague, the lone FX trader, and I'm out.